Can you make sure that you show up for you? So as you ponder that question, I want you to be authentic. I want you to be truthful with your answer. Hey, good day, everybody. This is Michael Kolbeck here. We're going to take a few moments and we're going to take a look at what's going on in my mind this morning. The question that arose to me a few minutes ago was this: can you show up for yourself? Do you have the discipline? Do you have the accountability? Do you have the ability to show up for yourself? And where did this come from exactly? The reason why this is coming up for me today is because I was working on some stuff for let's just call it my life's work. For the things that are calling me now that I want to step into. And I watched a really good video the other week, and I've been hearing this over and over from different people across the last probably couple of years or so, that's basically just saying, just start. This is very similar to my video from the other day that I posted in terms of start where you are, right? These other videos, these other people were saying, just start. You don't have to have it all figured out. And one of them challenged you to say, basically she expressed, do you find yourself moving forward and you post a video and then you don't do anything? And then maybe you go back and you post 2 videos and then you don't do anything. And so there's no consistency there, right? And as I was looking at this, I was noticing, man, my mind is really disciplined in certain areas of my life. And I've had people tell me multiple times over the years, you're one of the most disciplined people I know. And so it's ironic that this question comes up. Can you show up for yourself? Because this is what I said to myself this morning. As I sat there and I looked through, I was trying to clear off some data on my phone and just get things cleaned up a little bit so I could start, as I'm starting to make videos and starting to do things, I don't run into problems with running out of space and all this other stuff. And as I was going through, I stumbled across some old videos and some old documents and things, and I was looking at those and I was reading those, and I was in some regards getting activated a little bit emotionally. And I also found myself going, some of the things that I talked about 7 years ago in videos that I ran across this morning, I don't talk about those things anymore, and I don't talk about them as passionately because they're not at the forefront of my experience anymore. Most of those have been resolved. I can still talk about them. I just don't have the same amount of passion there. And as I sat there, I thought, oh my gosh, what am I going to speak on then as I'm going forward? Because one of these individuals that I was brought up earlier, she said, consistency is key. Now, I'm a little commitment phobic when it comes to setting up some of my new life's work. I don't want to be strapped in to where it feels like I'm just back at a 9-to-5 job again. And I'm basically giving my time for money type exchange. That's one thing I know I don't want. But this individual said, but you need to start. And I encourage you, I challenge you to do 10 videos and to put them out at whatever interval you want to, whether it's 2 times a week, whether it's 3 times a week. But at least, she said, I would at least say do 2 times a week. I thought, okay, great. I'm going to start doing this then, right? I'm going to go 10 times. And as I've been working through the process of going, when am I going to start? How often do I want to do this and everything? I've been struggling with, what am I going to speak about? Even though I have a plethora, I have this huge list of like 300 different topics that I couldn't wait to speak on while I was still back working my old 9-to-5 job, you know? So it's just an excuse, right? And as I sat there this morning and I was pulled in different directions and I was like, oh my God, what do I talk about now? It came to me, Michael, it's just about, can you show up for yourself? For these 10 videos, these first 10 videos that you're going to do, the question is, can you show up for yourself for 10 videos consistently to do that, regardless of what life is throwing at you? Regardless of whether your mind is going, oh, I don't know if I should talk about this, or if I should talk about this, or I should share this. What is it? There's so many different things. I don't know which direction to go. And it's like, just show up, right? Just show up and be present. Showing up means that you are present with yourself, that you are committed, that you have the discipline to show up, that regardless of what's going on in your internal state and your emotions and whatnot, that you are still going to show up for yourself, regardless of what is going on in the external world, what we call life, that you are still going to show up, right? This goes back to the whole premise of no one is coming to save you. No one's coming to hold you accountable. No one's coming to do the thing for you. No one's coming to tell you and help you eat better. No one's coming to tell you and help you how to exercise better. No one's coming to help you find that job you need to find, you know? And it's not that we don't have any help out there. It's that you are the one who is ultimately responsible and accountable for showing up for yourself. It's not anybody else's responsibility. And sometimes it does come down to a simple question as this: can you show up for yourself? For me, this is very specific to, can you, Michael, show up for yourself for these 10 videos? Even though you feel like you don't know what you're doing, can you still show up and be consistent for this? And this could apply to something as if you're needing a life coach, or you're going and you're seeing a therapist of any kind, or doing healing work of any kind, or receiving that kind of work in any way, right? Can you show up for yourself? Can you show up for yourself to make sure you make it to those appointments, to make sure that you know that the things that are going to move you forward in life, can you make sure that you show up for you? So as you ponder that question, I want you to be authentic. I want you to be truthful with your answer. Because your answer may be, yeah, I can do this. Or your answer may be, I'm not sure. And if your answer is, I'm not sure, or if your answer is no, I want you to write down why. Why do you feel like you can't show up for yourself? What thoughts are there? What feelings are coming up inside, right? And I want you to write these things out. Get the stuff out of your head onto a piece of paper, onto a whiteboard, onto whatever it is, so that you can see them, you can work with them. You give your body a chance to express what it wants to express. And then from that expression, you can look at things and you can tune in and you can choose. And you can get some clarity. Getting things out of our head and onto paper in front of us at times helps us with that clarity, because we have both the expressive aspect of it, whether we're saying it out loud, whether we're writing it down, but we also have the visual perspective, if we're writing it down, of being able to look at what was floating around in here, and we can see it in front of us. And it's a little bit easier to work with that way. So the question is, can you show up for yourself? And I want to point out here, like I said at the beginning of this video, many people have talked about, and I would agree with, that I'm a very disciplined person. But again, Many things in our lives, we like to paint these black and white pictures of everything, right? But in many areas of our lives, you can be highly disciplined in certain areas. And then in one or two areas, maybe not so much. Maybe because there's some things there that aren't quite as clear, and you use the lack of clarity there as an excuse, right? To not be as disciplined because you're not sure exactly what to do or which direction to move or which choice to make. And what I want to tell you is that's all okay. That's all just part of the process. It's about you learning how to be present with yourself, learning how to feel what's happening in here, learning how to notice what's happening in here with your thoughts, what kind of thoughts and feelings are coming through, asking the questions, why is this showing up right now? What is this about? Just getting curious with it. The important piece is noticing. And we definitely do not want to judge any of the thoughts or any of the feelings that come up because they're all valid. They're all parts of self. They're all beliefs or something that are within us that are coming out. Doesn't necessarily mean that they are true, but they are valid. So the question, can you show up for yourself? That's the task for today. Can you show up for yourself with whatever it is for you? This question is for me. Can I show up to do 10 videos? And then once I do those 10 videos, to make sure it doesn't just fall off the cliff, right? Because I want to use the 10 videos as a learning path to create some momentum going forward. So I have no intention of just doing 10 videos, yay, I'm done. No, I'm going to do the 10 videos, have a little celebration. I did the 10 videos. Yeah, and what did I learn while doing those 10 videos, right? And then I'm going to keep it going and keep moving forward with that. That is all about showing up for yourself, being present with yourself, committed to yourself, disciplined enough, valuing, honoring, respecting yourself enough to show up for yourself. That's all I have for today. Blessings and love to each of you.